Do you know that feeling when you check your bank account and you wonder, where did all my money go? Or the rush of excitement when you click add to cart, only to feel the sinking regret a few days later when the credit card bill flies in? I can definitely relate. Impulse buying feels great in the moment, but it's like eating an entire cake at midnight. It's fun now, but you will regret it later. So today I'm going to talk about actionable strategies based on behavioral finance and my own personal experience to help you avoid impulse buying and get a handle on your finances. So let's be real here for a second. Most impulse buys aren't about the item itself. They're about how we're feeling: bored, sad, celebrating. Retail therapy is real, and I have experienced it myself, but it's also a trap. So when you shop, ask yourself, am I shopping because I'm stressed? Is this purchase really solving your problem? Or am I just chasing a feeling? Retailers capitalize on our emotions with tactics like scarcity, for example, limited time offers, and social proof, like seeing others buy. Recognizing these triggers is the first step to resisting them. If you're bored, you could go for a walk. If you feel stressed, you could journal or call a friend. And if you're celebrating, you could treat yourself to an experience, like a movie night or a fancy homemade meal. Instead of chasing temporary highs with purchases, imagine redirecting your energy into long-term goals that truly excite you. Stopping impulse buying doesn't mean you have to stop spending altogether. In fact, deprivation can actually keep you from doing anything at all when it comes to your spending habits. We want to find balance between spending and saving. What has helped me a lot is allocating a monthly allowance budget. It is a set amount you can spend on whatever you want in that moment and completely guilt-free. Knowing you have permission to indulge within limits takes the pressure off and keeps you from overspending. You can make sure that you will be on track with your financial goals and stay out of debt. Another tip that has helped me personally is to try to redirect my impulse purchases to a second-hand shopping platform. That way, you automatically reduce the amount you would spend on one single item, and you can make multiple more purchases throughout the month while sticking to your allowance budget. You maybe find yourself in the morning checking your inbox and seeing a flood of promotional emails. You head onto your Instagram to check your feed and see one influencer after another showing off their latest haul. Let me tell you right off the bat, they are designed to make you spend. Although I would advise to limit your social media use altogether, I know it's just not practical for everyday life. And these apps also have their upsides when used in moderation. So instead, start with unsubscribing from email lists of products that don't really add value, and unfollow social media accounts that trigger your spending urges. How the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. But why does it matter? Every time you see a sale or a new product, your brain releases dopamine, which creates a craving loop. By reducing the exposure to these triggers, you can break the cycle. You can think of it like spring cleaning for your finances, decluttering your digital space to make room for intentional spending. Which brings me to my next point. An easy and probably very obvious way to avoid impulse buying is to only shop when you need things. I know it's easier said than done, but wandering through stores or endlessly scrolling just to browse is an invitation for impulse purchases. So what I found most helpful, instead of never ever leaving the house again to prevent myself from shopping, is to shop with a purpose and plan. My practical tip is, before I do any kind of shopping, I make a list and treat it like a mission. Get in, get out, and stick to the plan. And you might be surprised, but I also noticed how important it actually is to shop with a purpose when I go grocery shopping. Supermarkets are engineered to make you spend more money than you actually planned. From 50% off, limited time only, to the design and placements of their assortment, or those tempting little items at the cash register you're looking at while waiting in line. Does that sound familiar? Companies know the psychology behind the spending behavior of their customers, and they spend tons of money on their research. They try to take advantage of the time spent at the cash register, tap into our fear of missing out, and create a false sense of urgency. It happens online as well as offline. But here's the truth that we often don't want to hear. If you didn't need it at full price, you most likely don't need it at half price either. And if you weren't planning on buying that chewing gum while waiting in line, you probably don't need it now. A good rule of thumb that I always follow is asking myself, would I buy this item at full price? Or does this additional item really serve a purpose? If the answer is no, I walk away. One of the most valuable lessons I learned from the best-selling book Atomic Habits by James Clear to create lasting habits is to remove friction, because it will help you to decrease the willpower it takes to do something. At the same time, this concept can be used to make impulse buying feel harder than it actually is by adding friction to the process. For example, that could be delete saved credit card information from online accounts, leave your wallet at home and only take the cash with you actually want to spend when running quick errands, set yourself browsing limits on Instagram, TikTok, or online shops to limit the exposure to new trendy items. The more steps you have to take to make a purchase, the less likely you are to follow through. Retailers know how to target our emotions and trick our brains into thinking we need things we really don't. They also know impulse buying thrives on urgency and that a little voice that we often hear, buy it now before it's gone. My personal trick that has helped me, just wait 24 hours. I started applying the one-day rule after realizing how much money I was spending on great deals I never used. So if I still wanted the item after 24 hours, I'd buy it. And spoiler alert, 90% of the time, I didn't even remember it. When you see something you think you want, don't hit buy now. Instead, add it to your wish list or write it down, and then walk away. The simple delay allows your brain to switch from emotional, in-the-moment thinking to a logical, long-term decision-making. Behavioral finance actually calls this the cooling off period. When we give ourselves time, the dopamine rush associated with the purchase fades, and we can assess whether we really want or need the item. Most of the times, you will realize that what felt like a must-have in the moment will be like a meh the next day. Impulse buying isn't just about money, it's also about mindset. To break free from the cycle means taking back control, setting boundaries, and focus on what truly matters. Next time you find yourself tempted to make an impulse purchase, ask yourself, is this really helping me build the life I want, or is this just a quick fix? Often we also don't have clear financial priorities. Without a plan, money slips through our fingers. But when you're working toward a goal, whether it's a vacation, a down payment, or building an emergency fund, it's easier to resist the lure of impulse purchases. And not only I say that, a study by the Dominican University found that people who had written down their goals were much more likely to actually achieve them. So make sure to write your goals down, either in a physical notebook or any kind of productivity app. I can recommend Notion and Xtiles, which I have linked down below in the description box. And if you want to learn how to set effective goals, you can check out this video up here, where I speak about my secret goal setting method that has helped me grow an emergency fund worth of 12 months of living expenses. If you found this video helpful, it would mean the world to me if you give this video a thumbs up, hit the notification bell as well as the subscribe button, and join the community as it grows. So see you next time. Bye!